Welcome back to another episode of the Post Patrol. I'm your host, Gunnar Schonbeck. Um, we're back with Tyler, and welcome back, Jules. How are you guys doing today?
Splendid. Splendid.
Doing well. I can't wait to talk basketball and have some different perspectives because I want to definitely dive deep into like these last couple games for you guys in Boston.
I'm so ready for this. Ty, you wanted to start off with the Sam Hauser game. I know that the 10 for 21 game.
Yeah, 30 points on just threes. He was on pace to beat Clay's record. Like he had a real shot at it, then he just struggled late. So I was rooting for him, but didn't pan out. It was almost like I think it was last season, like the opener, where we were on pace to beat the NBA record for threes, and we just went cold at the end. I
Yep,
don't know if you remember that. Like the same
it
thing, but for Sam Hauser.
Yeah,
it definitely
literally.
was, yeah. So, I think this is my whole thing with the Sam Hauser stuff. Sam Hauser right now is probably hitting his hot streak. He normally gets hot around this time, either in January or February. Um, my whole thing is we still just have a bunch of streaky shooters. Sam Hauser's one of them, still one of the best three ball guys in the league. It's just whether he can stay hot or if he can't. Um, that's my whole thing with this Sam Hauser run is I think he's hitting that streak where he'll be hot for the next 12 games and then might just fall off. Um,
Yeah. I think Sam Hauser is such a valuable piece for Boston because of what he can provide as like a small ball five. Yes, you're giving up rebounding, but basically how what I've been seeing with the small ball lineups is that now you're giving Derek White and Jalen Brown way more rim pressure because Sam has been a legitimate spacer for you guys. So really with a Missoula system, obviously you don't drive to the rim as much, but the opportunities there when you have Sam Hauser specifically in these corners and the hashes that like make big men like you have to run a zone against that. And when we're seeing specifically Atlanta not have the defensive personnel as is to go and even go out on him because it was like Jalen Johnson, who hasn't been a good defender, having to go and help most of the time. You're getting these opportunities at the rim with the Jalen Brown with a 40-point game, right?
yep.
So it's valuable in a playoff setting to have somebody like Sam Hauser who can give you these minutes, regardless of what lineup it is, to go and provide for your team.
Oh, for sure. Ty, you want to touch up on that Anthony Simons Heat game?
Oh yeah, that was good. From the beginning of the season, I think me and you talked. We wouldn't mind seeing Anthony Simons traded, but at this point, if he can continue to provide this offensive spark off the bench, um, he can definitely be an X factor in the playoffs. It's just we didn't know if he'd fit the team's play style wise because we never saw him in a high functioning offense. Um, but he's definitely starting to settle
So,
in, and
oh, for
yeah.
sure. My whole thing with Simons is I still think he should be traded. Not but if Brad and Joe want to continue this experiment with him off the bench and be a guy we can rely on for these ISO tough shot makes, I'm fine with it. It's just I don't think he really fits the team playstyle as good. Me and Jules were talking about it a little earlier before the episode. I think this year he's shown he can play as this off ball guy and be reliable in it. My whole issue, though, is that to me he's an heliocentric and ISO scorer that we do sometimes need. It's just, does he really fit the team play style?
Yeah.
And
Um,
there, yeah, go ahead, Jules.
No, well, I wanted to say quickly that's why Simon's like is interesting. Like the contract is might be like hard to move, but because of what he's been doing off the bench as of recently, I know that you're sold on him, but like I would agree with Gunner. You still trade him, but now I think there's like a good market for Anthony Simons to where you can just like cash dump him somewhere and get some value for places of need. So even if you will want to keep him, it's where okay in a playoff setting he's a microwave that can give you 15 20 points in 10 minutes. That's how good of a spark he's been for you guys. So I I would just personally trade him, but I there's just so many options that you guys need that we would have to figure out in the market of when it comes down to the trade deadline in 2.5 3 weeks.
And like from what I'm seeing, like trade wise within the Celtics community, I'm seeing not a whole lot. The only big trade is really uh Jaren Jackson, who we should not go for in general. He doesn't fit anything we need really. Um we need rebounding. Jaren Jackson's one of the worst big men rebounders there is in the league. I'm not moved if we trade for him at all. I understand the defensive impact he could have for this team, the floor spacing he provides. It doesn't fit what we need. We have Luka Garza for a reason.
But he was lighting it up. Yeah.
Um, Oh, Luka Garza's been
Well,
great at spacing this year and getting offensive boards. Go ahead, Jules. My bad.
well, no, you're good. If you guys were to get Jaren Jackson, um, two things I can see happening, and they're both options that I like one favorably more than the other. The first option that I like is that you have Jaren Jackson as your five, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the con would be Kata would have to come off the bench, and once a Tatum comes back, you have Pritchard, White, Brown, Tatum, and Jaren Jackson as your starting five with Kata and the bench that you have. That's cool. The other option that because it's Missoula, I think that might end up happening. Is um, once Tatum gets off of minutes restriction, or even if he comes back next year, you have White, Brown, Tatum as your three, Jaren
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, and Kata as your five. And why I'm not a big proponent of that for Tatum coming off an Achilles, that instantaneously puts him more in a risk to re-injure himself because now he's having to guard the perimeter because you're not
Yeah.
going to ask Jaren Jackson to go out there. You're not going to ask Kata to go out there. So it gives him a lot more vulnerability as a wing defender to be moving and all this kind of stuff where I much rather him be a post defender and have him move less so he's not as vulnerable to be injured.
Another reason I'm not big on that trade is we'd be getting rid of Jordan Walsh. We can't get rid of Jordan Walsh.
Yep,
That was like
I agree.
the first real chance he's gotten, and he is 100% taking advantage of it and showing he not only belongs in the league, but can be a key piece of a successful team in the league.
I think there should be. I'm not saying he should win it. I think he should definitely be in these like top 10 for depoy talks though this year. Just be with how he's able to defend the isolation and all that. I believe he's taking a dip defensively, but I'm I don't care. It's been looking really good for him this year on that
I think that's
end.
big of enough of a concern.
Yeah, it's been a small drop, but at the same time, he's also been asked here and there to do a little bit more offensively from what I have seen. Um,
Right.
so like he's still one of the best defenders in the league. Um, I believe that Walsh shouldn't. Like I said, I don't think he should win. I'm a interior defense over perimeter guy any day of the week, but he being this perimeter defender, he's been able to show he is a top 10 defender still, in my opinion.
I'm not mad
Love
at
it.
that.
So, uh, I think that's what we got Celtics wise from for today. Um, Jules, what do you want to talk about?
Well, the All-Star Games starter selections came out a couple hours ago, and doing some research on my end. For the people who are watching Joel's content on TikTok, go follow me and watch my stuff. Um, there's a couple big controversies both in the East and West, and where I'm finding concern is obviously in the format that we have right now. It's East and West, but we know it's going to be Team World versus Team USA. So, really, if you go and look at the totality of the votes, there's not enough like definitive USA guys. There's just not. So they're gonna have to cherry pick a couple people. But we'll start off at the beginning. Your West All-Star starters: SGA, Luka, standard. Um, Jokic, standard. Wemby, good. I'm a Spurs fan, so I'll push that. And then Steph. Um, and a lot of people that have been Anthony Edwards defenders have been screaming Anthony Edwards deserved that fifth and final spot. So the question is, do we think that Anthony Edwards got snubbed from an All-Star game starter?
I think so. I honestly do. I'm not on the Steph train this year at all. I think to me, if he's top 15, top barely top 10 player this year in my opinion. Um so my whole thing is I think Anthony Edwards is clearly a top 6 player in the world this year. Um I don't think there's any argument for Steph being over him. It's just it's the fan vote, and if you're not mainstream guy, you're not gonna get that vote. Which Ant is a mainstream guy, but he's not on Steph's level in popularity.
And Warriors
What about
players,
you?
I'll say Warriors, they always do well in the All-Star voting. I remember Zaza Pachulia back in the day was like top five in All-Star votes just from the Warriors fan base.
Well, wasn't that also from like what country he's from?
Oh, it might have been.
That's part
I
of
just
it,
remember seeing him like a top five vote and he was just like a bum
and
that just injured the other team.
that's also why Andrew Wiggins was an All-Star starter was because Andrew Wiggins is very popular in what China, right?
I think I
I
remember
believe so.
seeing that.
And he was getting the votes from China. So and the Canadian
Yep.
votes. So I think the NBA should really consider the fan vote being worth less and should be for all-star reserves instead of starters. But
Well, Well, Gunnar, that actually leads into my next question, rather seamlessly. Um, the obviously the fan vote has majority of the credit, but we are on the basic like cusp of seeing LeBron James miss an All-Star game. And I think collectively we know that LeBron, he's 41. He's on the basically maybe his last year, second to last year, regardless. Um, and he's been making a strong push for All-Star because of, again, just his name alone,
Mm-hmm.
but the value he's been putting out without Austin Reeves. So this is going to be the first year in a long time that LeBron isn't a starter. Um, do we think that he gets in through the coaches vote? Because I was going through it on my end of things on my live. There's a real chance that he doesn't. Do we think that LeBron misses the All-Star game this year?
I'd have to think of who the Americans are for the All Star, because that's what would determine it. Um,
Well, the format is 3 teams, 2 USA teams, 1 Worlds team. Am I understanding that right?
I believe
yep.
so.
So that means you have 16 USA All-Stars and only 8 World All-Stars. That is going to help LeBron out a lot. Um, because you could probably almost go 16-16 Worlds and USA players. So the fact that we know,
Yeah,
not 16,
Who's the
12 and
top?
12 would be 24.
12 and 12. Yeah.
Yeah, but so 16 USA players, LeBron may edge out a couple Worlds players that are above him just because we need more USA players for the format.
Well, even with that, like it's funny that they changed this format this year because in my opinion this would be the only time that LeBron would be able to make an all-star because the amount of games that he's missed
Yep.
as well as um his situation in LA. Like again, he's been I I'm a LeBron guy, but those stats are completely inflated because of Austin Reeves not being there. So his stats are, well, I think it was, I looked at it, it was like 24 or 23 6 and 6. um and he's in a position now, if there wasn't formatted like this, that he wouldn't be considered. And I think that's going to heavily the coaches, because everybody knows how good LeBron is going to get a beneficiary of these later end all stars like a Kobe, like a Dirk, like a Tim Duncan, to where okay, his stats are there. It's easily you can argue him to be an all star, but is he really an all star over Keontae George or Scotty Barnes, who have immense value on their teams as number ones, but LeBron isn't. So I don't know.
That's my whole thing as well. Is like Keontae George, like you said, I was making the push earlier for a guy like Keontae George to be an All Star because I'm a I'm a guy who, when I do my voting for All Star selections, if I think they deserve, like, have shown this year and have been a guy that can be an All Star or play in an All Star level, you're getting my vote any day of the week. Um, so the that's my whole thing. I think Keontae should be over him. He's been great for this Jazz team. So, the Jazz are just young and are blowing games in the late third and fourth quarter because they don't have the full on experience. Otherwise, it's relatively competitive, and they're a fun watch this year.
Yep.
Um,
I'm in I'm in agreement. Um, with that was the West, and that was kind of the conversations I was having. The East, I think, is a lot funner to discuss.
oh, for
Um,
sure.
so for the East All Star Game starters, Giannis if it was a traditional format, Giannis would be your 5, Jaylen Brown would be your 4, Cade Cunningham would be your 3, Maxey would be your 2, and Brunson would be your 1. And that to me is hilarious. First off, like positionless basketball is really just gonna fuck up all these All-Star game starters for the future. But Gunnar, and I know we've talked about this off screen before, uh, and I can't believe I'm bringing myself to say this. I think they snubbed Donovan Mitchell.
I'm not gonna say they did, cause fuck him, fuck Donovan Mitchell.
He had a horrible start to the season. Lately, definitely all-star starter, but he had a pretty cold start.
And with how the Cavs have been this season, I don't think it's a snub. I think the Cavs, they can't. I'm just not high on the Cavs anymore because Donovan Mitchell's not this playmaker, and they've needed him to be this playmaker. Darius Garland is the better guard for that team.
I can grant you that. However, because Garland hasn't been playing,
I know.
and he just got re-injured, it's nobody but Mitchell.
Oh,
and they got blown out today against OKC. Mitchell didn't have a good game. But out of the guards there, I'm a Cade guy. I think Cade deserves to be there, no question. Even though I'm not the biggest Knicks fan, I understand that Brunson, that conversation, absolutely. I don't like Maxey there. I'm sorry. I don't see it.
I can understand that. I can understand that.
Yeah.
My thing is, I'm not with either of them. Give me Michael Porter Jr.
Oh my God.
Give me Michael Porter Jr. with how he's been for this Nets team. The Nets are a fun watch this year. Sure,
They are.
the record doesn't show it, but when you're watching the games, it's the same thing with Utah. They're just inexperienced. So, like, they're keeping it close relative until the third, fourth quarter.
They've had some impressive wins lately.
Oh, they have.
I'll give you that.
They beat the Bulls. They beat the Pelicans. They beat the No, they lost the Clippers. My bad. They beat the Nuggets. Jokic-less, but still, it's a good win.
Mm-hmm. It's like you said, the experience. I think MPJ, looking into it, is almost like a lock reserve. Because I know that they weren't going off of like positions. Obviously, it's positionless, but because I think the amount of votes he got from the fans, there were certain people that I was looking at that basically were like locked in to be reserve. MPJ was one of those people, so we will see contested 3-pointers in the fucking All-Star game if people actually decide to play defense. Shout out to that. So I think MPJ is a good conversation. It's just for me with the Maxey conversation. If you heard me say this before, he is way too like subtle when it comes to when him and Embiid are together. And even the game in now, like Embiid has looked fantastic in the games that he's been back. Like I believe he's averaging over the last like 10 to 12 games, 28, 8 and 5 on 65% true shooting. He's been fantastic. But then Maxey is falling off a cliff efficiency wise. The only really place that he's good from is from the long mid-range and from the 3. And as an undersized guard that has decent value, if your name is Steph Curry. But Steph can finish at the rim and shoots everywhere on the court. Maxey's just not that. So where I would push for Donovan is that he's an inch taller than Maxey. He's not the playmaker Maxey is. I can give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But the scoring gap of
Oh,
Mitchell
it's
and
there.
Maxey
Yeah.
is it's night and day. So, like I said, I'm not even a Donovan Mitchell fan. It's just like
I I just think there's
I think he's
better.
got to.
I think there's better guys for the starter position than both Maxey and Mitchell, in my opinion. That's all I'm getting at. Um, and Philly always gets the popularity when it comes to that type of stuff, at least in recent years.
Yeah, the media and stuff.
So, um, that's
Um,
that's part of it.
and that's fair. Um, in terms of like some actual games that I've watched this past like week or recently, um, this might sound biased, but I believe this is wholeheartedly up to this point the game of the year, um, between Minnesota and San
I
Antonio.
was actually gonna bring
It's
this up just now.
yeah. Um, Anthony Edwards, 55, double nickel. Shout out to MJ's son, Anthony Edwards. Um, Victor
Hey man, Jimmy
Wembanyama with
Butler.
39. Yeah, right, right. Victor had a 39-point game, and we blew a fourth quarter lead yet again. Um, this is playoff basketball at its finest because the two teams match up against each other really, really well throughout every game that they've played through. I think other than the first game, it's been a two-possession game or less
Mm-hmm.
in every single time. So, I guess my question are going into it is in a seven-game series, who would you take, San Antonio or Minnesota?
I right now I'm having a hard time saying San Antonio just because their lack of experience. Granted, they did win the NBA Cup, so if you contribute that to like playoff basketball where the stakes are higher, maybe they have the nerves and the composure, kind of like Wemby said. Like I would take the Wolves in 7 or 6 games. You see what I did there?
Thank you.
Avoided the.
Yes,
Yeah, yep, yep.
we're leaving that in 2025.
I agree.
But I'm gonna lean the Wolves. But it's not because of the experience. I'm leaning it because I think that um the only issue, again, I've been saying this all season with Minnesota, is the point guard and not having an actual playmaker for them. Um, but with Minnesota, Anthony Edwards can just go to any spot on the floor this year. He's been really good in the mid range, which is something we haven't really seen out of him up until now. This year, the Rudy Gobert's still one of the best defenders in the league, being a top three defender. Arguably number one. Not gonna say that he is because I do think Wemby is, but I think you can make a great
What you
argument he is. I think you can make with the right argument you can make it so he is the best defender in the league. I think they match up really well. I'm taking them in 7 games, but I could also see San Antonio squeaking it out in 7. So it can go either way.
I think it's definitely a series San Antonio can win. I'd like to hear Jules explain why he thinks they can.
So I'll go
Why
because I was
not you?
talking to why not us? That has been that's been a motto of mine in the sports side of things because I'm also a Seahawks fan. Go,
There we go.
go Hawks. So my thing with San Antonio, why we've been winning a lot of these games in the regular season, um, has been a defensively minded system, obviously around Wemby, but with Luke Cornett, and what um, Castle has been providing defensively, specifically on Shea this year. He's been the best guard defender on Shea. If you go look at Data Baller, and he's guarded him the most, and I think his true shooting is like a 57%. So he's literally just below league average. Like Stephon Castle's been great on Shea. With Anthony Edwards is a little bit different, but I think this might sound crazy to say. I think Anthony Edwards is a little bit more of a dynamic scorer through all three facets compared to Shea. Um, for a series, why I would say, and I'm really not trying to come out of this as like a biased fan.
No, you're not. You're good.
Why I would lean towards San Antonio is because Wemby nullifies Rudy specifically.
On the perimeter, for sure.
On the perimeter. And if you go look at the last two games against Minnesota and what Wemby has been on this stretch, he's drastically improved in specifically pull-up threes and pull-up long mid-range shots. Like, now he's a really good mid-range shooter, and he's obviously been a great three-point shooter for his size since he's been in. And where how teams would attack San Antonio is get Wemby out of the paint and attack wherever he's not. The Spurs would do the exact same thing against Minnesota, attack wherever Rudy Gobert isn't. And if he's stuck at the three-point line, he's not going to be able to help. And you have a downhill scorer in Castle, you have a downhill scorer in Harper, you have a downhill scorer in Fox, to where the perimeter defense just doesn't match up well against San Antonio. You have a Jalen McDaniels, which is great. You can put him on Fox. Anthony Edwards could probably hold his own against Stephon Castle. But a lot of the downhill scoring, I think, is going to overwhelm Minnesota. And they just don't have the big depth like the Spurs do. Or at least like defensively outside of Rudy, like his value is so great that you can't make up for it.
For sure.
You can make that argument. You can make that argument with Wemby, but Luke Cornett is, by metrics wise, really good almost on the same level as Rudy Gobert this year if you make the right arguments. So it's where like I do think that would go 7, but why I lean San Antonio is because a lot of the strengths that Minnesota has, the Spurs can nullify with one guy. And how Anthony Edwards can nullify the Spurs, we just have somebody who's literally a foot taller than him. Size beats all, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the two teams, like the strengths of Rudy and Wemby is clogging the paint, just shutting it out of the offensive opportunities that the paint are just not there. But if you have Wemby dragging Gobert out, Gobert is almost useless at the defensive end, whereas Gobert is completely unable to drag Wemby out of the paint. So that is definitely a big Spurs advantage.
My major concern with not San Antonio, with Minnesota, is going to be really the adjustments, because Mitch Johnson's shown he's a great coach. While they're playing the games, like we said last week, coaching master classes between Joe and Mitch with that chess match. I'd go against Minnesota in their coaching department. I'm with the hashtag fire Chris Finch.
Yep.
I think if they did that, they have the best assistant coach arguably in the league, who's shown he can be this great head coach in the league. When Chris Finch got that tech and was having a coaching chess match against David Adelman in Denver. So that's where I'm like if anything ruins Minnesota, it's gonna be Chris Finch.
Yep, I'm in agreement with that. Um, do we have anything else? Because you brought up a good point I wanted to go through.
Oh, go for it.
So this year has been very wonky because the past 2 years specifically, when the best player on the said team isn't there, it usually has ended up in that team skids. Perfect example was, John Morant in Memphis. However, when John Morant was out, Memphis started to win a whole bunch of games. You're just like, that doesn't make sense. Jokic being out has helped Jamal Murray, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon's back. Christian Braun is, I believe, coming back this week. And they've been relatively, I think just above 500, if not 500, since he's been out. But if you just look at and just, do the lazy thing in box score watch, everybody's numbers has gone through the roof because now, Jokic isn't there. This disingenuous narrative that Jokic is holding his players back, because a 6'11", damn near 7-footer who's averaging a triple double, possibly one of the most efficient players in all time,
Making them the best offense in the league.
right, is now being put in the conversation of, oh, he's holding them back because he's so great. And what I find so funny is the several people who've talked about or have said that were LeBron James fans.
Mm.
And that was the same narrative that a lot of Michael Jordan fans pushed onto Bron. So is this where we're kind of going to, is this the cycle of the never-ending kind of dismemberment of greatness as time goes on? Like, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that because I was just blown away at that like talking point that I've seen through on TikTok and some media members.
I'm with you on that. It's very disingenuous. Every every player who's an all-time great has felt like they've gone through that ever since the 1980s, I'd say. That players have been getting told they're just holding their team back. We were saying this with MJ. We were saying this with LeBron. We've been saying this with Steph like when early in his career. So I think it's a bit. It's very disingenuous when it comes to these talks of these players. At least in my opinion.
What do you think?
I completely agree. I think like Jokic is going to get up 20 shots a game, right? Taking
Yep.
him out,
Right.
or any star player. Other players are going to get 20 more shots a game distributed amongst them. Obviously, their numbers are going to go up. Like there are more points to be scored by everyone but Jokic. But yeah, looking at like efficiency when Jokic isn't there versus when he is, like team record, team success, all the stats show Jokic's. Just because other people get more opportunities when he's out does not mean he's holding them back, and it's kind of just a very just like base level thing to say, not looking deep into anything.
Oh,
I'm
for
in
sure.
agreement because I it's like even basing it back in Boston, right? Tatum is out, so now Brown is getting majority of the shots, and his numbers are what they are, arguably because of Tatum not being there, the best player. So it's this weird disingenuous argument that people aren't able to understand because it's still like, even though it's basketball, it's a next man up mentality. You if you don't play well, you get benched and you get thrown into the second or third unit, and you don't get that opportunity again until another person gets injured or so on and so forth. So I was just very um, upset at the people who were saying this, because I'm seeing through it. Like, this has been an argument for every all-time player for years, and it's like, if you're the best player on your team, why wouldn't you get the majority of the shots, unless it's a very, specific player with a skill set, like a good passing point guard, right? Like a Steve Nash, or
Chris
even like
Paul.
a Stockton or Chris Paul, right? Um, like, those are specific play styles and play sets. Even today's age, like Tyrese Halliburton, right?
Yep.
Best player on his team, he doesn't take majority of the shots. That's Pascal Siakam. So I was, again, just very upset by those kind of narratives being put out there when Jokic is having an all-time great offensive season, and now we're saying, oh, he's holding them back. And the other part of that too is, why are we acting like the Nuggets didn't just revamp their whole roster in
Oh,
the
they for
offseason?
sure did. They for sure did.
Like,
And people are saying that, like, I've heard on TikTok that Cam Johnson's not this good player and whatnot. I'm like, what are we talking about? Are we not seeing the same thing that he's being able or being asked to do for this Nuggets team compared to what he's doing for the Nets? He's been a nitty gritty guy doing anything they need for that team. He's been a good defender. Sure, the shot wasn't falling in the early half of the season, but like it's going in now, and I just am like, they got that. They got Tim Hardaway, Peyton Watson stepping up this year. I just don't understand it.
I mean, like, even Valanciunas before he
Yeah.
went down, the what was it? The 3 games that he started after Jokic got hurt was giving you legitimate double doubles on, like, his best of like 5 or 6 assists a game. Like,
Yep.
Jonas was being basically a Jokic, just older. Like, that offensive system is arguably, I think it's points per possession in the half court, all time. The number 1 and number 2 teams are Boston this year and Denver this year. And so it literally been separated by a point, and it literally changes game by game by game. Like, and this is without Jokic now. Like, this is why role players are so important now, that if these players are being able to run these offenses so efficiently, it becomes where your star players are going to be ceiling raisers, but your role players are equally as important, so you can go win a championship.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I just get
Um,
irritated with that.
oh, I have to. It's the same argument I've been hearing with OKC at times. It's been the same thing with the Lakers and Luca. So I don't know. It just frustrates me. Anyways, let's get into some all time stuff now. We
Okay.
we ended last week in our combined top 50 at number 35. If we wanted to, we could run down and get to the top 50 if you guys wanted to.
Yeah, it's up to you guys. Works for me.
Um,
We can do whatever you want, Gunnar. I
cause
have my list up so we can discuss.
yeah, we'll see how far we decide to go. At 36, Jules, who do you want to put at 36?
At 36, I had Gary Payton.
Ooh, interesting. Um, I do not have Gary Payton here. I have him lower all time. Um, what the fuck's it? It's not. Something's going on. Oh, maybe something fucked up.
Well, why I have Gary Payton here is you can kind of knock him for his later years. Like we don't count the O championship at all. And his first 4 years in the league were rather underwhelming because offensively, coming out as a lottery pick, he wasn't putting everything together. But what changed through '94 to arguably '01 is funny enough. George Karl had a conversation with him and basically said you need to put up or shut up because you're a top 5 pick and you need to start like grinding harder. You need to put that work ethic in. And immediately after that, becomes one of the greatest defensive point guards in history, and arguably, I think has like a top 8 peak for point guards of all time, because a lot of people don't like to put like when we talk about his peak, people immediately just say when he won DPOY in '96.
That
That's not
isn't
his
his
peak.
peak. No.
Yeah, it's 98 through 2000 is his peak when he's winning 60 plus games with or 2 of the years without Sean Kemp. His second best player is fucking Vin Baker, and he's putting up like 26 and 5 at minimum, and is continuously. I mean, he's still rather good defensively. He's not the same in '96, but he's like doing carry jobs, winning 60 plus games just to make it out of the hellhole of the West during that time. He doesn't get any success, but why Gary's so high on this list, or for me, is because after Sean, he gets better and he is decisively carrying these teams with less help, and running these offenses fantastically. Like when we talk about two-way players for point guard, Gary Payton should be up there, and he needs to get some more recognition as a all-time player. I'm just very high on Gary Payton.
That's fair. Before I go, Adam in chat says Patrick Ewing, which this is the right range for Ewing. I agree. I have him a little lower myself, but it's not disingenuous to say Pat here. I myself have
I thought we
Frazier.
already had Pat.
We do not. We have D Rob.
I put Pat here
You would.
and move. I would personally. I don't know how Ty feels.
I like Pat Ewing.
I have Pat Ewing. I'm lower on Ewing. I have him 39th all time. But I don't think it's a bad spot for Ewing either. So.
Yeah, I have Pat Ewing 35th.
That's totally fair. Cause my next one was gonna be Frazier, but if we're going with this, then I'm fine with Ewing here.
Yeah. At 37, I have Walt.
I think you're higher on GP than me. What the fuck?
I am.
Yeah. Hold on, my Excel's fucking up. Anyways, well, I'm fine with Ewing here. 37. 37. You wanna go GP then, or Ty? Do you want Gary Payton or Walt Frazier? because it can go either way, and I'm fine with it.
Jules, you say Gary Payton, and Gunnar, you say Walt Frazier is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Walt Frazier, like we were talking about off screen earlier. Walt Frazier, great riser in the playoffs. Robbed of a Finals MVP. When we're being honest, Willis Reed did not deserve 73 at all. With his 13 and 12 or whatever it was, right?
Something like that, 13 and 11.
Yeah. And it wasn't even great efficiency where Walt's giving you great efficiency. 25 points?
I believe off the top of my head, it was like
Uh,
22 or something like that, 21.
Maybe I'm off. I don't know. And great defense for guard as well. And the numbers don't stick out at a lot when you're talking about Frazier. But when you're watching his games, the clear impact is there when it's comes to
In
Walt.
in 73, it's 17, 7, and 5. Willis is
Really, I thought it was
16,
higher.
9, and 3. You're thinking about 71. Or not 71, 70.
70. Okay, that might be me then. Still, though, one of the greatest playoff risers there is. When it comes to Walt, that's why I lean Walt over Peyton, but it can honestly go either way.
Yeah, in 70, it's 18, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. Almost a triple-double.
Oh, I'm gonna give the edge to Gary Payton just
Alright.
because the deep boy, and even to this day, he's like when you're looking for a defensive point guard, he's what you're trying to live up to.
No, you're trying to live up to Jason Kidd, but we'll get to him at
Or
some
Marcus
point.
Smart.
Marcus Smart is crazy.
No, we're not doing this Marcus Smart shit. 38 will go Frazier then.
Yeah, it's smart.
That's fine. Like I said, I have them position apart on my list, so I'm not tripping. It's funny enough because you said him. I have Jason Kidd 39.
This is where I have Isaiah Thomas.
I'm higher on IT than you are.
Yeah, I figured. Well, I have Isaiah Thomas 38th.
Didn't we mention him last episode?
We
In
did.
contention for 35?
Okay.
We did. He can. This is the range because I do ranges. This is the range where Isaiah Thomas should be around 35 through 40, in my opinion. He peaks early before the championships, and when they build the championship teams, it's not the same Isaiah Thomas. It's a whole different system, and they build it around defense. Which is interesting when it comes to talking with Isaiah, so. But I think Isaiah should be 39 here, myself. So yeah.
I think he's over J Kidd, so there's no argument from me.
Alright.
Perfect.
If I can spell. 40th, you said Jason Kidd. Do I have issues with it? You know what? Let me push Dolph Shays. Fuck it. You know I'm high on Dolph Shays.
So am I, but I don't think what his only argument is best player on the title team compared to J Kid?
He does have the best. Yeah, that is really the main argument over J Kid plus relative to era efficiency, I believe, but
Right. But even in that, do you want his impact of shooting the basketball, or do you want J Kid's playmaking
do you want Dolph Shays
and
rebounding?
defense? I don't think he was the best rebounder on his team. Didn't he have Neil Johnson? Ty, this is how I get him.
No. Dolph Shays
Fight
is
back,
still.
Hunter.
Hold on. Dolph
Yeah, pull up
Shays
the notes.
is.
Pull up the notes. I like this.
Pull up the notes. Dolph Shays is still giving you over 10 boards a game, at times giving you 14. He maxes out at 16 Juelz. We're not doing this. Leading the league in rebounding, by the way, at 16.
51.
Yep. For his career, giving you 12 a game.
It looks a lot like J Kid's efficiencies from the field, air attacks.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
To me, I just don't think there's a, other than the best player on a title team, if you value rebounding, that's fine. I don't like. You argue accolades too, but I just
you
don't
know
know
what?
how I
I'll
feel.
concede. I'll concede.
I was gonna lead Jason Kidd because third all-time assists, I think, right? Something like that.
I think he's now. I think he's sixth now because
Yeah.
LeBron just got in second and Chris Paul's third now.
I'll concede Jason Kidd. Because
If you want Dolph Shays right behind him, that's fine.
sick. I have my Dolph Shays narratives.
There we go.
Yeah, I had him a couple spots down. The person that I'm gonna push the hell out of is George Gervin.
Oh, I think we're fine with
Shays.
that. Cause I have Gervin right after Kidd all time. I have him 43rd, so I'm fine with him here.
Okay.
I'm fine with Gervin here.
Perfect.
Oh wait, hold on, Juelz, we're just on Scottie Pippen hate train right now.
Can
we continue it?
You know what?
Or no.
Yeah,
No.
you know what? I'm fine with the Scottie Pippen hate train.
Scottie Pippen wasn't the greatest player, but he was the best player on 6 title teams.
Ah!
I know we talked about Scotty last week, and I thought, I had Scotty. I have him 38th.
I have him.
So we flew by him.
Yeah, I have Scotty. Hold on, let me look.
He's above Dolph Shays, Doug.
37.
I'm
I have
not
him
gonna lie.
37th. Oh, fine. I'll move Dolph Shays down. We're keeping Jason Kidd though, cause I'm hearing too much Scottie Pippen love.
Oh my god.
Nah, Juelz, I'm not gonna lie, that guy pissed me off when he said that shit on my live.
They misspelled Pippen.
Oh.
No, it's because it does this. Personally, Scotty needs a flip-flop tax. I'm moved. Adam's right.
What the flip-flop tax? Elaborate.
Cause he keeps flipping back and he keeps flipping back and forth between. Or he was a big MJ guy, right, all time, and then moved to LeBron because he now hates Michael Jordan. So that's.
I have a last. He's a last dance merchant.
Yep. We'll have Dolph Shays 42 then.
Also, Michael Jordan's son was banging Pippen's ex-wife.
That's part of the reason why he doesn't like Jordan.
Yeah, that's kind of rough if you're Scottie Pippen.
43. We're
Um,
we pushing your boy Juelz? I think it's time. Or yeah,
my
I think
boy.
it's time. Also, Adam just said Rasheed Wallace, Portland merchant, confirmed.
Fair.
Uh,
Who's that? Who's my boy?
think about your 80s Spurs. Not your favorite 80s Spurs, but your 80s Spurs.
Don't we already have Gervin? We're not pushing Johnny Moore.
No, we do not have George Gervin. No, Adam, it's not Johnny Moore.
Yeah, Iceman, please.
Alright. Brett, what the fuck? Yeah, I this is where I have Gervin as well. Why is it double keying? Alright. And then 44th. This is where I have Iverson.
Iverson and Drexler right next to each other.
That's where I have them as well. They're both 44th and 45 for me. They can go
I
either
have
way.
AI 41 and Drexler 42.
We'll go AI and then Drexler then.
Tax AI for being short.
We could. We definitely could for being a short, inefficient man.
Ty, how do you feel about that?
I think that is very good.
Alright.
Very good.
Ty, who do you want to bring up at 46?
Oh, shit. Here, scroll down on your list a little bit. Get a blurry face cam.
Oh,
Wrong way, wrong way.
Go up?
I'll just pick someone. Yeah.
I'm scared.
Oh, you're on to Luca.
I do have Luca here.
Mm.
That or you could you know
know
what you
what?
could do? Ty, you could
I'm gonna go
push.
Tatum. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my gosh, you're actually gonna push Tatum.
I think so.
Bro, you're not pushing him over Dave Cowens. Fuck out of here.
I was more so doing Tatum, Lucas, Shea, who I like out of those three, and I was picking Tatum for sure.
Ty, you're
Ones,
not
though,
pushing.
I'll push Tatum next time.
You should.
Oh, I'm pushing Tatum.
You should be pushing Dave Cowens if you're going on your Celtics bias. Adam, get out of here with your
bias is on there too.
recency bias.
Dude, Vince Carter does have one of the best dunk contest dunks of all time. We'll go Vince Carter. I like that, Adam.
Fuck no. Fuck
No, I think
no.
I think he jumped over a guy in the Olympics. 360 windmill.
We do not care about
How much
the
greater
Olympics
can you
here.
get? All right, fair enough.
Adam, fuck out of here. You are not even high on Carter. Fuck out of here.
My person I have here, is Luca.
I have Luca too.
I have Tatum a little bit lower. I have Tatum right at 50.
That's where I have Tatum. So me and Juelz are overriding your ass.
Fair enough. How is Luka greater than Tatum?
More All-NBA first teams than Tatum. The efficiency lean towards Tatum. He's a better playmaker. He elevates his teams better. The argument why Tatum would be better or greater is best player on a titled team that he put on Luka's head for sure. But since the success is there, Luka's, like I said, more on NBAs, more a top in MVP finishes. The efficiency leans towards like everything as a player overall. Even as a rebounder, Luka is better.
I would
Like-
also say the peak of Luka is higher than Tatum's.
True,
Yeah.
but Tatum's playoff success, obviously he's has
Tatum,
been on a better team than Luka.
You don't want to go into the playoffs.
Just because playoff drops with Tatum, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, only with the because now I guess I have to put on my I hate Tatum stuff because I'm not a big Tatum guy. I do think he's top 50. I
Oh,
said.
for sure. Juelz, I only say
Luka
that
definitively.
because I know there's a lot of guys that go with the playoff drops with Tatum to diminish him for Jaylen Brown.
I don't even go down that route
I
with
know.
Tatum. If we're comparing him to Luka, Luka is second in playoff points per game, only behind Michael Jordan. He's only had one definitive series where he's dropped, and that was the OKC 2024 series. But he still gave you 25, 10, and 8. It was just bad efficiency. He has been transcendent in the playoffs by himself, while Tatum, with the better team, like he said, has been not the same level. Luka has done it with his second best player being an injured Kyrie and PJ Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'm 100% being a biased Celtics fan right now.
And
but
that's fine, Ty. It's you can.
I will not.
You will admit it though. You will admit it.
Oh yeah, I think Luka by far better. And yeah, we'll put him up here. I will not be accepting Shea over Tatum.
Well, in what month is it? It's January. By June, you're gonna have to swallow that pill.
We'll see. Thunder bomb out of the first round.
Yes.
We'll revisit.
Yes.
If they do that, then fine. I will put Tatum over Shea.
All right, there we go. We have a deal.
Losing to the eighth seed sub 500 Clippers. I'm moved. I'm with that.
Yep.
When that if that happens,
we haven't talked about James Harden too.
Oh my gosh, that is disgusting. I would have to move James Harden up all time.
Mm-hmm. He's skyrocketing. Are you joking?
That's true.
So you're ignoring Cowan's gun? I thought you were going to make a big Cowan's push.
I was going to make a big Cowan's push, but...
All right, let's hear it.
Dave Cowan's, 73 MVP, great guy, especially handling Kareem in a double overtime game. 2 titles. Wouldn't say he's the best player on any of the title team. Hold on. Harden over Wade beating the Thunder. I'm moved. Okay, Adam. Great rebounder, great post defender. He's winning in MVP in the strongest era of centers all time. That's my reason I'd push Cowan's here. Plus, I'll acknowledge the Celtics bias.
There we go.
There you go. I don't think I am much unbiasedly. I don't think Dave Cowens is here. I believe that it should be Willis Reed.
Fuck Willis Reed.
Willis Reed. So you're talking about wasn't the best player on the championship team. Willis Reed at least has an argument for one of them. He has an MVP in the same deck as Cowens, and yes, he doesn't average the same amount of, but it's marginal. He has more first team All NBAs he does than Cowens. He has more total All NBAs than Cowens. And I think for all defensive, I think it's the only thing that Cowens has over him.
It is.
But in totality, and also if you want to count All Stars too, but Willis Reed, I know we slander him because I'm a Walt guy, but Willis Reed, I think definitively is just greater.
That's fair.
Got the Finals MVPs on him too.
No. He only deserved one of those Finals MVPs. We're not gonna use 73's
Hey,
Finals
one
MVP.
is still infinitely many more than Dave Cowens.
That's true. However, Dave Counts has an argument for one.
No, for sure, but in 70, even though like I would still lean Walt, um, Willis Reed giving you like 23 and like 10 on Wilt.
That's
That moves
true.
me.
That you know what? That does move me. And you know what? I should go against Dave Counts, and I shouldn't have said the Finals MVP argument because that diminishes Hondo. What am I doing?
That's a good point.
Hondo's not top 50.
Oh
Let's talk
no,
about it.
no. Hondo is top 50. He's top 20 in our books here. We'll put Willis Reed. 48. I think this is where I'd go Shea here. Then,
Didn't we just
or
put
Counts.
Shea? No.
No, we didn't put Shea.
God,
Oh,
no,
I'm
we
tripping.
did not.
I was gonna say.
Adam, I
I
will defend Hondo. Get it, stop it.
I have Shea lower.
That's fine.
However, I know if they win, he's going to get propelled up. So, like, this isn't a bad range for me. What I want to ask is, other than the peak, what is his argument over Elvin Hayes?
Shoot you out the Jim Hayes. Give me the best player on a title team over Hayes, because we all know that's Bobby Dandridge in 78. Give me the efficiency, fuck it. Fuck shoot you out the Jim Hayes. Give me the finals MVP. Yeah.
He won it
Elvin?
for 5 minutes.
No.
Yeah, it was Bob Dandridge and then Elvin and then Wes, right?
Not moved. That's Bobby Dandridge's.
Oh my god, you're killing me.
I'm just not high on Elvin, but I understand. I'm starting to push Elvin and thinking about moving him higher, but it's because of the nasty Wes Unseld talk.
Hey, if you want to put SGA here again, I'm fine with it. I just wanted to hear an argument over Hayes, because even though he doesn't win MVP and you can argue him not being the best on the title team, that's fine. He anchors the statistically the greatest defense of all time, and he consistently is between 22 and 15 to like 24 and 16. And as a low post scorer, like
He's great.
He's great. What sucks is that he was just a dickhead, and that's just who he was. Like, no shout out to him, but like, if you're not liked in the media, obviously you're not going to get a whole bunch of by your accolades, because that was still when players were voting for him and all this kind of stuff. I just wanted to hear the argument for SGA over Elvin Hayes. That's all.
So I have Elvin Hayes 51. I think they're relative and they're close.
I do too. I do too.
I'm starting to I want to push him higher just because I'm hearing this nasty unsold shit. But it'd be disingenuous in my opinion, but I can understand it.
If you want to put SGA here, go for it.
Do you have Dave Cowens in your top 50, Juelz?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
You know what? Then I'm fine with pushing Elvin Hayes at 49.
Well, okay, that's fine. Um,
But I would
so
have Tatum over Elvin Hayes myself.
um, I disagree. The final. So if we're at 50, the four names that I have 46 through 50 that we have not talked about is I'm lower on Kuzi, so I don't know if you already
Oh,
have Kuzi.
we have
At
Kuzi in
30.
30.
Holy, that's a big discrepancy.
I have Kuzi at 47. Um, I have Anthony Davis at 48. I have Voldemort from Utah at
Uh,
49.
so number 13 is already up here.
Is higher.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess the conversation is between Anthony Davis and Jason Tatum at 50.
That's a good debate there.
No, hold on. Not gonna lie, I thought Gunner was about to do the Christian Cage go fuck yourself to Jules after the Dave Cowan's not top 50. Fair enough, Adam.
Yeah,
Fair
like
enough.
I was trying to put Dave Cowens at like 45, and now he's not even gonna make the top 50. This is awesome.
Bruh, it's because I can put my bias aside with Dave. I'm just moved by a guy who wants to be a taxi driver in his free time.
Free spirit counts.
Yes, sir.
So Gunnar, you have Anthony Davis or Jason Tatum?
I have Tatum. I have Tatum above 80.
And Jules, you have Anthony Davis?
I have Anthony Davis.
I want to hear this debate.
In terms of playoff translation, Anthony Davis doesn't get out of the first round in the Pelicans. However, outside the Golden State series, I believe in 2017, best player by far in each series that he plays in the first round. A relative true shooting of like a +5 through, I believe, throughout the averages of all of his series. Um, Obviously, at his peak, a top 3 defender in the league. And to be honest with you, you can make really good arguments for him to be the best player in 2020.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
Because outside of the finals, where LeBron definitively is, I would say, the best player, he majority of the time he's holding Jokic down in that series with the helps of Dwight Howard, but AD's his main guy. He's the best player in the first round by far. He's the best player in the second round by far, and he's providing the interior presence of rim deterrence throughout the whole playoffs, and what made that defense so great in LA. If you want to tax him because he is day-to-day Davis, I completely understand that because Tatum is virtually the embodiment of durability. I would just lean towards his defensive rebounding, his rim deterrence, and they're equal parts of best player on a title team.
I think that's totally fair. That's my whole thing with 80 is when it comes to his health. So that's why I'm a little lower on 80. I totally stand having 80 though. Here, but I would make the Elvin Hayes argument over that you were doing with Shea, as well as Elvin Hayes over 80.
Okay.
So
I would say if Anthony Davis and Tatum were to both retire right now, I would definitely give it to Anthony Davis, honestly. I see that being
that's
the
fair.
general consensus. But give it 2 years, Tatum will be undeniably better, or greater, I should say. So I'm pretty indifferent on the order of those
Yeah.
two.
To be fair and to play devil's advocate on my argument, Tatum's still definitively in his prime, while Anthony Davis is just now leaving his prime.
Right.
Tatum, even though he's coming back from an injury, is a beneficiary of more the modern medicine, even compared to Anthony Davis when he was getting hurt. Like the advancements in 5 years' time is so much greater than it was in the later 2010s than it is now. So if Tatum can come back, and I wouldn't see. I don't want to be like optimistic and just say like, okay, he's going to be giving you like 27, 8, and 5 like he was when he was giving you before his Achilles. But if he was giving you 24, 6, 4 or something like that for 2 years, and he's making significant playoff runs, yeah, there's no argument Anthony Davis over Tatum anymore because just Anthony Davis doesn't play definitive games. So I just say I think for right now I think his career just has been better, but it's literally by a spot. I just
Yeah.
prefer Anthony Davis. I'm an Anthony Davis fan, but Tatum has 10 plus years, while Anthony Davis probably doesn't even have 5.
Yeah,
That's
even if Tatum comes back for this year's playoffs and makes a deep playoff run, um, could definitely pass him. This is not part of the all-time list, but I'm excited to see what happens when Tatum comes back. I think he's going to be more back to the basket, post up, penetrating player, opposed to settling for threes, playing on the perimeter. So I'm excited to see that kind of a.
I think it's interesting. Cause we were wondering what Kevin Durant was gonna be when he came back, um, from an Achilles injury, but yeah, I can understand the Anthony Davis argument here. I'm fine
Yeah,
with
because
80.
like I just think like yeah, he's averages around like 55, 60 games a year, but that value defensively is the only two, like in his peak, the only other argument I could hear for best defensive player in the world, I said he's top 3, is what Rudy Gobert, and you might really have to try to push for somebody. Draymond.
You could definitely push Draymond.
Yeah, so if you even get if I give you Draymond, I don't think there's anybody in that realm with Anthony Davis.
It's also the 2010s when it comes to that, and bigs were just mid. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I'm not even just talking about bigs, just like defenders in
Oh, even
general.
then, give me the rim deterrence and all that. Like I said,
Yeah,
I'm high on rim protector and rim deterrence over a guy or any guy who's a perimeter defender.
Mhm.
So
Definitely more important to team success, I think.
still
yeah,
the most
and
efficient shot in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
and I know we're standing a little bit on like the Anthony Davis point, but I do think those Pelicans, like that organization, let him down so much, because I do think there's a couple years that they had a good argument to make a deep playoff run. If DeMarcus Cousins doesn't go down, if Drew Holiday is more of a better um defensive player in those Pelicans runs, right? Like the if they actually had bench pieces, the Pelicans were really really good. Anthony Davis is one of my favorite players of all time, so I might have a little bias with it. But again, between Tatum and Anthony Davis, it's a spot apart, and I just think Davis has a little bit more value up into right now, but
Mhm.
Tatum has plenty of years to
Yep.
get over him in one spot. You know what I mean? Like
That's
Tatum's gonna be definitive top 25.
Oh, for sure. That's totally fair. Yeah, that should. I think that concludes the list then, because I put AD at 49 and Tatum at 50. Um, we'll come back to it in the off season and see where guys like Luka, Shea, and Tatum move, or if they move up, move down. Tatum's not gonna move because he, in my opinion, doesn't come back. Um, Actually, before we sign off, we do have Jason Tatum news from earlier today. Tatum's chances of coming back this season are now 67% chance instead of what it was in December around 80. So
That's interesting. What are they using to define those chances? Like his individual injury recovery or like Celtics team success?
So what they were using, it's a mix of both because that's the Celtics' chance, um, like where they're at right now in the standings. They were using they used that too because there were talks about him coming back if we're above a 6 seed. Before. In December, they used that. They used the videos of him working out, coming back from injury with that, and they were going with quotes from him. Recently, the team itself has come out and said they want his timeline of return to be in August, within these last 2 weeks.
Take out the possibility, not possibility, minimize the possibility of re-injury. Makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
And he still wants to come back this season, which I wouldn't want. I want a healthy Tatum back in shape. We'd also, if he did come back this year, I'm scared Celtics fans are gonna be blaming Tatum if our team got worse, like OKC is doing with Jada. So
If Tatum came back, he would have to be a very clear second fiddle with Jaylen Brown.
yeah.
I don't think you can reinsert him and have him try to be the guy.
Oh, for sure, you can't. So yeah, that's my whole thing right now with that type of stuff. Jules, is there anything else you want to go into today?
Um, Personally, no. I just pulled up what you guys, because you guys are playing right now at halftime. You guys down 8 against Detroit.
Yep.
And Cade's not having a fantastic game shooting from the field, but he's probably going to give you a double double. He's at 8 and 7 right now. Shout out to Cade. I guess from my end, go follow me on TikTok, on Twitter, at Jules Compton. Follow the We Don't Know Ball podcast. Our host here, Gunnar, has been a of mine for a couple episodes. And follow the Hoopstorians on Sports Fluent on YouTube. We do great stuff, talk about all-time stuff there, and we talk football and basketball current stuff on We Don't Know Ball. So give us a follow, like, and subscribe to our YouTube page when needed.
Ty, anything you got?
Uh, no. Yeah, I think we covered it all.
All right, sick. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a wonderful night. Peace.